Carolina Montañez.
Hey, yo, what it do? It's your boy, Rue, and I'm coming for you. And this is...
Sofrito Speaks.
Hey, welcome back. Season 6. Damas y caballeros, welcome back to Sofrito Speaks. We looking a little different this season, baby. You know.
Listen, we done been through it.
You know, we are back in our own comfortable space to provide content for you guys this whole entire season. We have a lot. There's a lot. Okay?
Gotta cover a lot.
Let's get right into El Chisme, the part of the show where we let you know what had us fucked up or jodido. And this El Chisme, we're going to catch you guys up on how our summer went. So, you want to start off, sis?
You know, I'm gonna be honest. I've been very, unplugged. Yes, I've been on social media and things like that. But in terms of, what's going on in the world, listen.
It's giving wet world.
Right, you know what I mean? I don't think there was any, significant, staple in my summer of, what I did. I feel like I didn't really have a summer. All I did was work. Working in retail is not it if you want to have a social life. I'm trying to get out of it, if I'm being honest. It's just not for me anymore. It was the cute concept in order to, get the funds back up. But other than that...
Yeah.
It's a no for me, dog. It's just too much. It's too much. Poor Ruben had to set up our new space by himself because a bitch was at work the whole day.
But you know what? It didn't bug me at all. I loved it. I loved that we had our space. You know, it feels good.
And it's so different from our last space. Yeah. It's a lot homier. It feels good.
And you know what? It's more affordable.
You know what I mean? It's easier on the pocket. You know? So yeah. What about you?
I had an amazing summer.
I saw, honestly, I'm like, damn, this bitch hit me up not one time to do something.
I have been, we finished in June, July. I literally had to DoorDash so much because my second job, I don't do the summer program, so I'm not getting a second income. I had this trip to Puerto Rico booked, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to make this happen? I did learn, I think last season, I was telling you guys, how I was practicing, the power of patience and just, trusting that things are going to come to you when they need to come to you. And literally, for 3 weeks, that's where my gut was just, go DoorDash. And it was just, every day just making $100. I didn't, get to take that money with me to Puerto Rico, but I was able to pay my bills so that when I went to Puerto Rico, that whole check from my main job, that's a pretty good check to go on vacation with. So I was able to have funds for that, which is how I was able to do all of that. And then I went to Puerto Rico, and I had the trip that I've always wanted to have. I traveled all around the island.
I love that.
Every day we woke up, it was a different adventure. Shout out Trace. We just took Puerto Rico and we're let's just embrace every fucking corner of this damn island. And I was I'm not on time to see people. I'm not here to meet anyone. You know how the gays meet. I wasn't in any type of energy for that. I was in such a state of peace and happiness. And I remember being in the water on Crash Boat Beach and just looking at the sky floating. And Tracy has a picture of this. And I was just my ears under the water and just thinking to myself yo, remember this moment because a week from now, it's not going to be here. And I just felt so happy and just free. And I haven't felt like that in a long time. You know, when you just have that feeling of happiness, you're yo, you'll remember it because it just felt so good. I did hurt myself. I jumped over a gate drunk, hurt my foot. I'm still dealing with that. My knees, but I still, kept it pushing the whole entire trip. Loved El Yunque. Then I came back and kind of depression kicked on 10. And I started therapy. I realized I really need a therapist. I just started therapy. If you saw my Instagram story, I missed my last 2 sessions because the way YouTube has me hooked, baby. Yeah, and then I got an amazing raise at my job. Like, I'm making money. So
that is exciting.
yeah, we are doing good. Although I am super bored and super depressed at it, but it is what it is. I mean, a check is a check. It got, it got us a little bit of this, right?
Yeah,
so
it did.
We are good. We are good. I had a great summer altogether.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Can't relate. But I too started therapy, so that's fun. I cannot wait to share with you guys what I discover about myself, because although most people want to keep, what they speak about in therapy to themselves, I've done so much of my growth and healing on the internet. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, this right here has helped me grow so much as a person. So for me, I feel like it would be unfair to not share these discoveries. And a lot of the stuff that I'm already talking to her about, my therapist is literally like, so you know this already? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I've already done like the dissecting and like picking apart things. But now for me, it was time to bring in a third party that can maybe see something I'm not seeing because I've been looking at it for too long. So those are the kinds of conversations that her and I are having. Shout out to my therapist. She's fire. Yeah, and also like the process of picking a therapist.
Oh
like,
my God. So that's what's been holding me
interesting.
back for so long. Just because I've seen so many people talk about like how important it is to get a person of color, someone who's gay, and I like had this realization in PR where I was like, yo, I can't find anyone that takes my insurance. I've searched up and down the internet. I even tried to lie and try to get this guy from New York and say that I was living there. Like, it just was not working. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna choose someone. This person that I found, I mean, I've only had one session with her, so I can't really speak so much about it. But, she's pretty chill. She's Latina. She's from the city. I don't care to, I don't really have a filter. I don't care to share my business. I don't care that and I trust that you're not going to share, that's your job. So you understand that. I don't know if she knows me. I don't know her. But we had just one conversation. That one conversation, I cried, I laughed. I was like laughing by myself. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's just so funny to mention that. And she's like, it's okay. Like, that's what it's about. It's like going through those journeys. And literally we just talked about, like, she's like, just tell me about your life. And so many realizations that came to my head from me just like telling someone about my life.
And it's different because it's different than talking to your homies, because your homies are biased. They're gonna have something to say. They're gonna want to interject. But this person is just sitting there and they're just listening, and they'll ask prompting questions, but they'll just lead you to the conclusion.
Yeah. How did that make you feel?
Right.
Excuse me. Somebody wants to hear how I feel.
Right. You know what I mean?
What are you doing Friday night?
Where your friends are like, nah, fuck that. And, this, that, and the other. You don't need that. This ain't this. This ain't that. And there's just something super simple about therapy. Like, I think that negative stigma we've been talking about since season 1, where that you're assumed to be crazy if you're going to therapy, and it's it is super healthy. And I'm actually glad that in the same year we're both going to therapy, because it's just gonna make the conversation that much more fun for us this season, because now that we've done the healing on our own and in different ways and different capacities, what have you, now that we've invited that third party in, you just get to witness like it to continue to evolve,
the growth and the change, which we're actually going to talk about today.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. The therapy journey has begun, and I am extremely excited to see, well, if I ever make it to a second appointment, YouTube. Yeah. So
set in a reminder. Just have your phone.
Yo, you know what's crazy is that I set a reminder and I saw it at 1:00. My appointment's at 1:30. I saw it at 1:00 and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to make it today. I saw the reminder. 2:15, bro. This is what happens when you're at work and you have nothing to do. I was on YouTube watching ghost videos for an hour and 15.
I can't stand you. Stealing company time. I can't.
Let's go ahead and head over to our next section, which is Ayee Bendito. All right, y'all, let's head it right into this. This is the part of the show, Ayee Bendito, where we go through some headlines, local headlines, big headlines, whatever it may be, and just kind of chime in a little something on it.
Sprinkle in our
Not
opinion.
too much.
Nothing too crazy.
I wanted to kind of go through a timeline of like since we've been gone. I know that in July we saw the rise of monkeypox and how that was completely pushed on, you know, the LGBTQIA plus 28 letter community. And that was pretty intense for me. That was a weird time. I definitely, like, going to the club felt, you know, you really had to like watch your back. Like I didn't want to be touched.
Not go to the club, but just make sure nobody touched him while you was at the club.
Period.
He said, "I'm still gonna party.
I'm still gonna go.
Don't
Just
touch me.
now, I'm really heavy on that. Don't touch me, please. Thank you." But it was just weird, and I felt like everywhere that I went, like I have a gay flag hanging from my car, just because like I want to be more out with my gayness, you know. So it's like I was like, let me put this flag. And like the first few weeks was around the time that monkeypox came out. And I was like, fuck, like now everyone's going to like be looking at me. But, you know, the Karens and the Kevins of the world were doing great. They weren't bothering me. But I definitely felt like it just felt weird to be gay at that time. And that's how it was back then, like with AIDS and, you know, all the other STDs were pushed onto the gay
with
community.
The Dahmer series coming out and he targeting primarily
that shit was
black
crazy.
men. And it's, the thing of it is, oh my God, what is her name on TikTok? Christina Brown. I love her delivery. I love her delivery and everything that she says. And she was like, white people are already sitting here like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Y'all literally ate black slaves. Y'all enslaved people. It was a delicacy. There was literally a book. There was a book that taught, that literally was a recipe book for how you season meat of those who are enslaved.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Yo, I gotta send you this video.
That's gag worthy.
Like it was ridiculous. And I'm like, are we really confused? And like, I was reading the comments. I love going to the comments. So reading the comments, people were like, honestly, people aren't shocked at all that this is what was going on. They just want to see like how far they can push the envelope so that they can start doing it again and openly. And I was like, I really pray that is not the case.
Well, I mean, these type of shows, the Jeffrey Dahmer docuseries, whatever it's called, basically, like, you know, it kind of just gives the idea of to copycats to start coming out and doing the same thing, which is scary. Like The Purge. Do you remember like back a few weeks ago, at the beginning of September or something, like I think it was Illinois or something, announced that the Purge was going to be happening, that they're not going to have, you know, somebody or something along the lines of like you can't get in trouble for certain crimes in a 24-hour period in their state. And it was just like the media ran with the purge is happening in real life, and that was like terrifying to read. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, I've been waiting for this. Like these movies are giving us warnings. Like, so
I don't know, but I found that super interesting. And it's just this, how there is like literally a group of people that think that this is just a TV show, and it's like, no, this is based off of a true story. I have not watched it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I do not plan on watching it.
It's a bit much.
So
I went out after watching it, and I remember coming home and just like thinking of that story, and just like it does a number on your minds. I don't know. It did for me, at least.
Yeah, it's gonna be a no for me though.
In August, we saw the cancellation of a lot of flights, which I experienced. My flight got canceled literally as I walked into the airport. Got the message, the flight's canceled. You needed to go to the service desk. Waited 2.5 hours. And it was like destiny, because the guy was like, there's no flights until Monday. And this was on a Friday. And I was like, well, fuck. Because I booked 2 Airbnbs, one for one night by myself, and then the other Airbnb with my, that's our air freshener, y'all.
He's doing his job.
And yeah, like it was just crazy to see 2.5 hours worth of people waiting, giving these people hell. Like they had to call the cops on a couple people. Like it was crazy. It was super annoying too, because it's like I'm just in such like a peaceful mindset that like when I see people like spazzing over things that they really just, you can't control that.
It's out of your control. I am not going to be stressed over something that is clearly out of my control.
Like I was just standing there
Like,
like
I just laugh at shit now. I'm like, wow.
so I waited and you know, luckily I did, and I told myself like if it's meant to be, it's gonna be. That's what I was telling myself in line. And yo, he checked the first time, there was no tickets till Monday. And then I was like, can you just like refresh the page and just check again? A 6:50 a.m. for the next day popped up. And I was like, book that. He's like, you're gonna be here. I'm like, I will sleep here all night. I don't care. Book
Did you
that.
sleep?
No. My mom paid me shout out mom. She paid me an Uber home because I paid for parking. So she paid me an Uber home, and they were flying out the next day to Atlanta. So I just rode with them back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at God. Won't he do it?
Right.
Won't he do it?
So cancellation of flights. We saw inflation at a.
This was for you going your trip to Puerto Rico.
Going to Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Yeah, God knew you needed that trip.
Right.
He was like, yeah, we're gonna make this happen.
The inflation was, you know, pretty. It still is. You know, my mom just told me today she spent $250 with groceries. It was 3 bags.
What? All meat? Please tell me it was all meat.
It was a lot. It's a lot of meat. Like she has to feed all of us, and that's what we like. You know, because we try to meal prep. We're trying the whole meal prep thing. So obviously protein, and yeah, it was a lot. Eggs, you know.
Yo, I went food shopping. My budget is like $60 a week, and I went food shopping, and I didn't buy, mi gente, I didn't buy any meat at all. Why was it $57 without meat?
I bought.
It was just veggies. It was 3 bags. I brought
Yeah.
home 3 bags. Almost $60. I was sick.
I went grocery shopping at Walmart 2 weeks ago. I went through 60. It was $60, like 59 something, like literally $60, and that was for 1,700 calories a day. And I was literally buying everything I needed. Like I was like, so everything's done. 2 weeks later, and I'm like, great, I gotta go again. But $60 was, you know, I made it work. 60 for 1,700 calories a day. That's pretty good. What else did we see in August? I don't really. There was something else. Oh, Adrienne Houghton had her
a baby. Ever James.
That was pretty surprising to me. I'm not gonna lie. I logged online and I was like,
didn't I send it to you? I was
Yeah.
like, why am I honestly so happy for her?
I know you were, and I'm gonna be really fucked up to say this, but I did roll my eyes at it because I was just like, still no album. Like, where's the album?
Literally what he said. He was like, still no album.
Where's
like,
the album?
Asking her for an album. Like I'm.
I am.
One though.
I am. I don't care. Like,
listen, I will play out the Cheetah Girls soundtrack for the rest
I
of
want
my
a
life.
solo. Like, I'll even like she's doing Christian music now. Like, I'll do that. Like, just give me something. I just want to hear your voice. Cause
she's on her husband's albums.
So
anyways, moving on. I can't stand
then
it.
in September, we definitely saw. I mean, we just finished going through hurricane season with Puerto Rico. And how Florida got all this media coverage, but Puerto Rico didn't. So it was really just that for me. But you know, the whites love going to Puerto Rico and enjoying
Isn't
the
it
land.
a tax write-off?
Oh,
Dean Huertas.
Oh,
He
I
constantly
love
talks
his
about
page.
him. We love him. Shout out Dean. We
yeah.
love you.
He. So yeah, they definitely went through all of that. My family's doing okay.
We're good.
You guys are good?
My family's planning a trip to Puerto Rico for Christmas. And I'm like, what? Y'all know the island got hit pretty bad. It's not going to be set up in 3 months. Like,
Ay, que vienen, que vienen.
ay,
Ponte a limpiar, ponte a limpiar.
ay, what are you cleaning? The trees?
It was a pretty cool story. I'm horrible with names, so I'm not even. She's a TikToker. She was in Bad Bunny's music video. The reporter that lives in Puerto Rico. She's a journalist.
Dang, I forgot her name.
But shout out to her. I'm pretty sure a majority of you guys know who I'm talking about. They actually did a story about a guy. I think his name was Jose Luis or something like that, and he lost everything. And then like the next weekend, like a whole bunch of people pulled up and just like fixed his house. Yep. Like that was pretty amazing. Like the Puerto Ricans came together to help because
at the end of the day, when you're on that
America
island,
had a ship waiting for an act to pass, just sitting there with
wasn't
supplies.
it the Jones Act that fucked up them getting there's a lot of fucked up history, and I love TikTokers and or influencers such as Dean Huertas, who is consistently calling it out. Like, and then within his comment section, like you got white people, even our own people, just super ignorant to the history and
love the white
enslavement that Puerto Rico basically is in under the U.S. Like, and like talking about those things as in like, oh, so you mean Puerto Rico did this because of this, right? When was it Woodrow Wilson, one of the presidents, signed whatever act or whatever he did here, so that fucked that up. And then he just kept hitting people with facts. I'm like, these are literally in books, but we don't learn this history. We learn this cookie cutter indoctrinated version of American history, and we don't talk about the brutalities and the genocides and segregation. Yeah. We talk about it like it was like, oh, you can't sit with us. That's how we talk about segregation. You can't sit
Not
with us.
the wiggling of the toes.
You know what I mean? So you guys can see. Like, we literally speak about these things, like, and we try to, like, comb over it and then continue and pushing forward. And I love that this day and age that we're living in right now, you know that people information are is coming waking up when they want to remove it from the curriculum.
Yep.
Oh, I love it. Because, baby, one thing about me, when I am a future parent, if God ever decides to bless me with some kids, don't call me when my kid is correcting the teacher during history class.
I also have so many friends who are parents, and it's just surprising to me. And this is no shade towards y'all, but how y'all don't sit down, like y'all see this day and age that we're living in, and y'all don't sit down with your kids and tell them the history of where they're from, you know, where their ancestors are from. Maybe they're not from there.
I think what I've really learned this summer, because there have been a couple times on TikTok where I've posted, and I got a lot of heat for it. And I posted like, yo, parents, just do better. I'm not saying nothing wild. I'm not coming for your parent, nothing. All I'm saying is, in order for you to be the best version of yourself for your children, for your offspring, for whatever, what have you, you need to want to do better. You should have seen that comment section. It's easy to speak when you ain't got no kids and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, damn, so you can't. This don't make no. All I want you to do is put your kid in the car seat correctly. What you mean I can't speak on that because I don't have any kids? Like, what?
Yeah, I also just think like, we can't keep running to these.
Oh, I don't respond back.
No, not you. I'm saying like people like responding to even that and being like, it's easy to speak when you don't have kids. It is easy to speak when you don't have kids. But at the same time, it's like with patience and time, you can make things happen.
Right.
And just like you taught your child how to order food at McDonald's, you can teach your child a little bit about their history so that they're not so blindsided when they get older. Like so many kids that I see coming up now, like don't even know a lick of Spanish. And I'm just like, how?
Not only that, it's like, oh my God,
But they're at the Puerto Rican festival. They're at the Puerto Rican festival, the Dominican festival.
A huge portion of our generation that is still operating under the old school way of raising your kids, like be seen and not heard.
Okay,
you know,
speak
eso
on
no
it.
son bine tuyo. Why are you in grown folks' business? It's still getting an ass whooping because they got a shitty grade instead of trying to figure out how they can get a tutor and or extra help. You know what I mean? Like so many. I'm baffled because I know so many people in our generation that are fighting tooth and nail to break these generational curses and going to therapy and having these conversations and creating platforms that allow for those conversations and those safe spaces. But the other half of the generation that is still operating under a very old school, strict mentality that we were raised with. And it's just like, how can you sit there and people that are angry with their parents, but they are still doing the same thing their parents did to them, to their own children, but they're still blaming their parents for what is happening to their now grandkids, their children. And I'm just like, at what point do you take accountability for the healing that you're gonna be able to push forward with if you can't even?
But it's easier to point the finger than
playing the victim. One thing Latinos do really, really well, playing the victim. We all need Oscars.
I'm actually like, I have a couple Oscars.
Run me my Oscar. Best supporting actress.
I'm one of those.
Yeah.
And I can call my shit out.
It's hard.
Accountability.
Accountability is not easy. It is not easy. It is so hard. There are so many times where I want to revert back to old ways, and I have to tell myself, you don't operate from that space anymore. You have to have a conversation. If something is bothering you, you need to bring it up. I'm very easily like, man, fuck that shit. Like I have to deal with that bullshit, this, that, and the third. But it's like you cannot expect to be better, but pick and choose when you're gonna go back to your old ways. You just can't do it.
Speak on it.
You know what I mean? I came to preach today, you guys.
Okay. What else did we see? We saw the hurricanes in September. I know you wanted to bring up about the preacher.
Oh my God, mi gente.
Get to it.
Okay, so I've seen a lot.
I gagged when I heard this.
Literally. I've seen a lot of people that come for pastors. And And please, by all means, do not sit there and think that because I got saved, now I'm going to speak on these things. No, I've been speaking about these things behind closed doors for years.
It's giving Christian corner.
Shut up. New segment.
And then the music is like,
stop. I can't stand you. That actually, we'll talk. But anyways.
Nina's Christian corner. Come to the light with me.
I can't stand him. Anyways, so I've been seeing a lot of posts that are like calling out pastors for what they wear when they're on stage, this, that, and the third. Like, okay, I understand that, yes, some people have a hard time paying their tithes because they assume that it's going directly into the pocket of the pastors. Now, are there corrupt people in this world that are false prophets that are claiming to be of the Lord, but they have other intentions and they're not the best intentions? Absolutely. I will not take away from that. I'm not about to sit here and call who those people are out. However, I understand that is somebody's experience having been in church at some point in their life, and probably the reason why they will not re-enter a relationship with God due to the fact that they had been burned in a past church in the past. Okay, moving on. There are really people out here that are charging $1,500 to teach you how to pray. Baby, I'm going to give you this tip for free. All you got to do is invite God in and have a conversation with him. You don't have to pay somebody to teach you how to do it. You don't have to sit there and feel like you have to go on this tangent. I get caught up in it sometimes, and I can literally talk without breathing and still be making a point, and I'm not even thinking twice about it. However, you can sit there, and I had to learn. I used to think that I had to sit there and be like, hey, God, it's me. How are you? Thought I had to be like super
I'm good.
PC.
How are you?
You know what I mean? Like I thought I had to be super PC. Like I couldn't, come to him as I was. But that's exactly what you can do. You come to him as you are. I don't even be like, yo, God, on some real ish, my God. Let me talk to you real quick. Like for real. Like I'm a little pissed off with how today went. And that's literally how I have my conversations. And then after that, I follow it up with praying for what it is that I need prayer for. But the fact that there are people that are capitalizing on, and if you can afford $1,500, baby, you don't need prayer. You good. Because most people seek prayer when they're low. You should be praying when you're high too. But most people are seeking God when situations aren't going their way, when hard times are approaching, when you're in the valleys. You know what I mean? And if you can afford $1,500 for someone to teach you how to pray, then I think you're good. Honestly. But it was just so gross to me because I'm like, you are really preaching this or pitching this to people and capitalizing on the kingdom of God for your own personal gain. Baby, God don't like ugly. He doesn't.
I mean, I think in every field, there's people who, like, I know there's a couple podcast classes that you would have to pay around $1,000 to $2,000 to learn how to start a podcast. When this information is available for you on YouTube.
For free.
And also, if you have any fucking common sense, you can figure this out.
Like we did. Yeah, we did not take any courses. The only thing I did was during the pandemic, and it was like how to monetize. But Ruben had already figured it out before I even got on.
And we still ain't doing it.
And we still not doing it.
Yeah.
It's coming though. It's coming. But for me, it's for the month of September. When I saw that, I was like, there's probably like a huge group of people that do exactly this, and it's not okay.
Yeah,
it's not okay.
Also, I would like to talk a little bit about this. In the candy, the Halloween candy, they're
fentanyl?
dropping fentanyl pills, and it's just like,
well, remember when we were kids, it was razors.
Yeah. We are living in such a crazy world. Like, to think that you can go do something as innocent as trick-or-treating and your child has a candy with fentanyl and, God forbid, whatever happens.
Mi gente, y'all need to be super vigilant. Do not send your kids out trick-or-treating with just anybody. You do not
send them alone.
Intentions. Yeah, please don't send
Halloween
them alone.
is a great night.
Especially with the sex trafficking going on right now. Like, people are going to be in costumes. Oh, Lord Jesus.
Yeah, Halloween is not, it's a really scary time. I know teens
it's
always
not fun anymore.
They want to go, I want to be alone. Listen, go alone. That's fine. I'll be in the car.
Yeah,
I'll let you do your thing.
I'm gonna follow you
but
in
yeah,
the car.
I'm a block away, But yeah. let's go ahead and wrap this up and
Yeah.
head over to our next section, which is
Caldero Talk. All right, mi gente, we are at Caldero Talk, which is the part of the show where we're going to give you the topic, the meat of it all. So, with that being said, we're going to... you stupid. So, we're going to dissect and discuss the topic. And today's topic, we're actually going to call it Peace is Boring. Why?
Period poo.
Being peaceful can sometimes be boring. And, for all of last season 5, all we talked about was healing and accountability and how, it doesn't, holding someone accountable doesn't equal beef. Like, it doesn't mean that there has to be an issue because I'm holding you accountable. If you don't know how to receive feedback, then it can feel like somebody is attacking you. But that has nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with you. So, with that being said, I think that there is an aspect of healing and peace that we're not talking about because protecting your peace sounds so nice, and it is just
it sounds
it tastes
great,
really good,
and it seems easy.
It looks beautiful, written in cursive, like a cute little on your shirt on a coffee mug. But listen, we're gonna talk about what happens when you've protected your peace so much that now you're bored.
It's giving everything's protected. It's like shit.
Damn. Let me say my bad to that one person that brought a little excitement to my life because man.
Can you just piss me off one more time, please?
Like, I need something to talk about. I need you to make me mad. But in that, there's a level of trauma in that.
Yeah.
It's still attention. It's negative attention, but it's still attention. So we're joking about this, but it's like, damn, like we really ain't got shit to talk about. Like,
definitely when you're protecting your peace, I think that, that is something that you don't think about. Staying home for me is really hard. I try to spend my weekends like fully going out and doing something. And then like the weekends that I get paid, I go out and do something. And then the weekends that I don't get paid, I usually stay home because I'm already kind of like running low on funds. So I got to save my money for my gas and stuff. But I always try to like, even if it's just clubbing, like I recently had that realization of like, I like to party. Like, I like to have a good time. I like to go out dance. And
when did you realize that? Because I feel like there was a period of time where you were like, man, fuck that. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I was like severely depressed. And I mean, some people attribute going out clubbing and partying to depression as well. But at the same time, I also don't have a really big friend group. So for me, going out and at the same time, I'm also trying to, meet people and date and stuff like that. And I feel like it's kind of hard because, in the gay community, like, I feel like really one of the only spaces where you're allowed to freely be yourself is really just at the club and just having a good time. That's not the only place. So don't take that out of, context. But, that's what I've found, especially up here living in Massachusetts. It really just like closes down your options. Like I was literally looking for a gay bar, specifically like a gay bar. Nothing. And I was like, how is there nothing on Google for a gay bar? Like, I don't know. If anybody knows, drop it in the comments. Because I would like to go, with a group of friends and just be somewhere that's gay safe, like I don't have to think about it. But back to protecting my peace. I think that one thing that I've realized is like, maybe I need to surround myself more around people who are in that mindset as well. And maybe learn new activities through them, right? Because we're protecting our peace, but are you looking at your patterns? Like maybe for me, maybe all I know how to do is party and chill with those people who fall into that lane. But do I know that I can hit up this person and maybe let's try going to the movies? Maybe that's just it. Like go to the movies, have a good time. Because lately, let me tell y'all, once that 9:00 hour hits, I'm old. I'm getting old. I need to go. I need to think about my sleep. Like, yo.
I'm counting the hours. I go to sleep right now.
I'm like, if I go out tonight and I leave the club at 1, I'll be back by 1:30 and I can sleep at least until 8. Okay, my day starts at 9, so we're good.
That's normally how it goes.
Like, I need those 8 hours. It's no longer cute to do the 6. Yesterday, Friday night, I went out and I only got like 3 hours of sleep. And then I woke up. I had a haircut appointment. I had a full Saturday planned. And I was just like regretting it last night. And then last night they asked me to go out. And I was like, no, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. I'm like, I'm sleeping in for me is 7:30. I'm sleeping in tomorrow. Because like I'm always up at 5 a.m. If you see my IG story, I'm always on a hike.
Yeah.
But that's my time to find my peace as well. Like trying different things. It's getting colder now. So it's like the staying inside is where the depression really hits.
Seasonal depression. Look out for it. It's coming. Yeah, I think that there are some days where I'm driving home from work and I'm like, oh, I have the energy. And it's like, if I have the energy to be social, you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, I wish I had like more friends that like
seriously
wanted to go out and like do things, meet up for drinks. I think I'm at this point where there have been, at first I thought I was the one eliminating these people from my friend group. And the closer that I got to God, I realized, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't my choice. God was plucking them out. Because if I stayed in it, I wouldn't be able to focus on him. And that goes for, I talked about earlier in season 5, my season of singleness. And he had to remove people. He had to remove people in order for me to focus on him. And it took me being by myself. I like me. I don't know about y'all. I don't know about you. I like me. I love me. Like there is something so fun about enjoying your own company. Like I don't always.
You just be laughing at your own shit.
Yo, like, I think I'm a funny bitch.
I be right there too.
I'm like
laying
that
in
was
bed.
good. I'm telling you, I said this earlier this week on Instagram. Listen, if every single one of my views on my own videos counted, my numbers would be phenomenal. Because I think I'm hilarious. I can literally sit with myself and be fine. Be at peace. And I'll notice it's that intentionality behind being by yourself. We talk about protect your peace, but like you don't, on the contrary to what Ruben's saying, you don't always have to go out. You don't always have to be doing something. Sometimes it's just sitting and like I'll just sit in the mirror and I'll just stare at myself and I'll notice a new freckle. I'll notice like the other day I noticed that I was missing hair on my eyebrow and I was pissed about it. Like it was just like little things like that.
Fix his eyebrow.
No, literally. I was noticing just like little things. I noticed that the texture of my hair is changing. And if I wasn't intentional with my me time, I wouldn't notice these things. And then I'm able to vocalize and tell other people. With understanding myself, I'm able to tell other people what my hard boundaries are. No, if I'm not in bed by this time, I'm not going to be the most fun person. If I'm not, like, I don't like traveling when I don't have X amount of money in my account. Oh, but that's so boring. It's like, I'm adulting. Thank you. I need to make sure that I have these things in order to make sure, like, I'm okay and I'm secure. But that sense, again, with the whole protect your peace, you think you're just removing toxic people, but, like, you have to spend the rest of your life with yourself. If you are still operating with toxic tendencies, who's really the toxic person that has to be removed? You know what I mean? Like, you really need to sit there and grapple with the fact that you might not actually be the nicest person. You might have played a part in all the demise of all of the friendships or relationships that you've had because you cannot get out of your own way.
Baby.
Once you get out of your own way, then you'll really start to understand yourself. Once you admit to yourself that you have not been the kindest, that you have not been the best sister, that you have not been the best family member, that you have not been the best coworker, you haven't been the best employee. Once you can sit there and get out of your own victim mentality, then that's when the real work is going to start to happen. That's when you're really going to start to learn who you are as a person. And then when you present yourself to other people, that's when they're going to be able to see the change within you. And it's not easy to tell. The same way that it's easy to criticize yourself should be when it comes to something that you're wearing, it should be just as easy to point out the fact that you might be ugly on the inside and not just the jacket that you're wearing that day. You have to sit with you. No one else is going to spend the amount of time with you that you are. Does it matter if you're married for X amount of years? No. You have to learn to like you and be okay with you in order for other people to get some semblance of an understanding. If you don't understand you, you're only gonna lash out at other people because they don't understand you. Now you're frustrated because don't nobody understand you. Bitch, you don't understand you. I'm telling y'all.
Bitch, you don't understand you. The fuck?
That's gonna be a great like little
How you want me?
Soundbite. You know what I mean? But it's calling yourself out on your own bullshit while
Own up
you
to
are
your
protecting
shit.
your peace.
Own up to your shit.
You can protect it, like I said, and I'm gonna keep preaching this. You can protect your peace from other people, but then you only have you. Are you a peaceful place to be?
Ooh, baby.
I told you I was gonna preach today.
Ooh,
I felt today in my spirit, baby. Stop that, because this has been something that's been heavy on my mind and it's on my heart. Because I'm just like, I'm sitting at, like, I think about other people that like have told me that they're protecting their peace, and then I'm like, but you're falling back into the same habits because you don't.
How
like
are you protecting your
alone.
peace when you're in those same negative spaces that you needed your peace protected from?
And if you don't like to be alone with
How
yourself,
does that go?
you
How
fall
does it...
back into temptation. If you don't like you, it's so easy for other opportunities to tempt you and for you to fall back into other ways. And I know for some people, the idea of being by yourself is scary because you might fall into depression. Anxiety is going to be kicking down your door. You're going to be left alone with those thoughts.
To that point, because I'm alone a lot more, I have started journaling, and that has helped me a lot. Like I said earlier, finding different interests for when you are by yourself. Maybe it is like, and another thing that I've been like trying to tell myself is like, yo, step away from the phone, step away from the Netflix, because you have dreams and goals, bro, that sitting down and watching, binging for a weekend and eating is not going to do that for you. Sitting down and being on the phone for 12 hours, it just won't happen. Like I'm always seeing people, and I'm happy for them. I'm never comparing. I'm only complimenting. Like I've seen
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Like, yeah, I've seen people like doing amazing things and they're getting, and I'm like, I always think to myself, I'm like, yo, like imagine all the hard work they had to put in to get to where they're at. Mm-hmm. And that's really why I want, why I started therapy and like why I want to fix my habits. Cause I'm like, I want to be at a place where I feel content with my life and just pour more into things that make me feel good, that are in the lane that I want to do. If I keep saying like I don't want to work for the rest of my life, I hate jobs, I came to the realization last month of just like, you hate jobs, but you're doing nothing to change that. You hate jobs, but you have the dedication to get up Monday through Friday at 5:00 in the morning, to get up, take a shower, get dressed, make your breakfast, and go to a job and sit there for 8.5 hours. But it kills you to go to the gym. It kills you to maybe, in my case, maybe come here and work on some music, or maybe, work on my other podcast.
Damn, I haven't seen that thing in mad long.
Work on...
It probably needs some oil. I ain't even gonna hold y'all.
I used it. Don't do that. My isolation board, for the mic. But like pour into all these things that like I'm a creative person. If I don't want to work for the rest of my life, then what am I like? I need to figure out what I'm gonna do, and I need to get back into that hustle mentality where it's like I don't have to sacrifice everything. But I mean, you're alone. You're alone right now. Put some time into the things that you want to do. Like start shaping your future, because if not, you are gonna wake up 10 years from now still at that work desk and telling yourself, I hate working. I hate this. And that's what I was doing. And like, I was so negative at my office. Like, mind you, I'm the operational manager now. So like, I'm like with the big dogs, and I'm just like, so I was so negative. And I had to realize like, this is just a job, bro. This isn't your life. Calm down. You're being a dramatica.
Yeah.
And figure it out. Like if you want a studio, get a studio, if that's what the answer is, if whatever it needs to be, but like find different things, because being by yourself and just that alone is not gonna help you, right?
Right.
And I feel like surround yourself around people who are on a journey for better. And like I've been hanging with one of my friends, and you know he is a recovering addict, and all of these great things, and like I'm trying to pour into him like some of that knowledge, but not empty my cup that I'm left.
That's
You know,
important.
because I love, you know, helping people and seeing people
Know
come up, and
when to
but at
pull
the
back.
same time, yeah, I'm very much so like I need my day, like go do your thing. You know, and he keeps me accountable too. He's like, you know, you sure you want to eat that, like, you know, and we're comfortable enough to talk like that. But I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I feel like I did pretty good all day. You know, I have 500 calories left. I can afford to eat this. He's like, all right. I mean, yeah, sure. But being around people who are going to hold you to that level and hold you accountable, and you'll feel a little bit more comfortable. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like people wake up and they're like, today I'm not talking to no one.
And it's negative. Like
And
it's
it's
not
like,
even like a
the
positive.
way you said that with the face, babes, it's already giving you're operating in a negative space. Maybe today at 5 p.m. I'm putting my phone on D&D and my day's done. Maybe just today. Maybe I just need that. Maybe I need to sit down and just cry it out today. Like maybe that's just what it needs to be, you know? So yeah, I think protecting your peace and being bored and alone, yes, it does come with that, right?
Yes.
But it also, let me challenge you, and like instead of being bored and alone, like challenge yourself and like find yourself throughout that process. Like write down journals, make lists, clean a room.
Be intentional.
Clean a room, go clean your car, cause a lot of y'all
Yo.
dumb cars, baby. I mean, I can't talk right now because my car is a hot mess, but it's been a week. But
No,
yeah,
it is definitely, which is why we wanted to, you know, shed light on the fact that you're probably sitting there like, damn, why do I feel this way? It's because you're bored. It's because you've done so much weeding out what no longer serves you, and now you have to serve you, because if not, you're just going to be bored, and then you'll fall back into old habits, like I've already said. And I can't stress that enough, just making sure that in this time, we're in limbo right now. It's like, okay, we've protected our peace to the point where now we want to focus on the things that we want to get done. Now what are we doing? Ay, da policía.
we actually programmed that to happen because the facts that are being spoken are like causing fires in your head right now.
He's stupid. Again, to bring it back, you're gonna be bored. You probably feel odd or off or whatever, what have you, and you're probably looking at your phone like, oh, it's getting cold out. Remember that one ex? At least we want some
Never run
attention.
back to an example of what you shouldn't have.
Thank you.
With my no voice happiness.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. You know, protecting your peace comes at a cost. It can get boring. It can get lonely. But if you are protecting your peace, I would say get in community. Get around other people who are intentionally doing the same thing that you're doing, and like just meet up. Have like a little accountability party. Like, hey girl, where are you at? Last time we spoke, this is what you were talking about. What steps did we take for that? And that can happen every 2 weeks. That shit can happen once a month. But get in community, because it takes a village. If you really want to see something come to fruition, don't just keep it to yourself, or don't just protect your peace by yourself. You can have people that understand what you are in need of, but that means that you have to take accountability for what it is that you need. And two, you need to be able to effectively and in a healthy way communicate what it is that you're going to need from these people if they're going to remain in your life.
And don't isolate.
Ruben used to send text messages. Hey, I'm going to be unplugging for X amount of time. I'll see you.
And then it would last me like 3 days.
It'll last me 3 days. But he still let people know that he cared about, that he deemed worthy of knowing that he was going to take a break. Even if he said in that message it was going to be for 3 weeks and it only lasted 3 days, regardless, he still communicated.
That extremism is
he
real.
still communicated and let us know, like, this is where my headspace is at. I literally was like, you need anything, just let me know. Simple.
Yeah, but I think like isolating yourself could really...
It's detrimental.
It could go, yeah. It can go, you know, and you, especially if, no matter what age,
it's an impulse, and you're acting on an impulse, and then once you're by yourself and you don't piss everybody
off. Like,
off.
I see people who literally spend their weekends, like, home and just watching Netflix. You're watching Netflix for over 12 hours, bro. Like, we need to figure something out. Like, go to the store, go out to eat. Like, even if even if it's just me, like I'll take myself on a date. I've been doing that a lot recently.
I love that.
Take myself out to lunch, have a couple drinks. Even if I'm just sitting on my phone, I'm out. I'm looking around. I'll put the phone down. Like just enjoy my food. Like think about the flavors. Like I don't know. Like
Intentionality.
yeah.
Being intentional with your time and how you're spending it. Doesn't matter if you're still scrolling, but like be cognizant of what you're scrolling because we mindlessly scroll. But if something catches your attention, pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Figure out what you like in the season.
Fix your timeline to reflect your real interests, not what everyone else is interested in.
We're gonna end the show right there. We're gonna end it. We're gonna se acabó. We're done. We're done. We're done. With all of that being said, mi gente, we cannot wait. We cannot wait to see your comments. We can't wait to have new followers on this journey we're gonna call season 6. This was a fun episode. I think it was
we
a
still
great
have one more
opener.
section, babe.
No, I know.
That's super cool.
No, I'm not done, bitch. Let me speak. I'm gonna transition us out of this. But we're gonna go over to Reposar. But with that, we just want to make sure that you guys are still with us, still riding with us for season 6. It's gonna be fun. So with that being said, we're gonna go right into
listen to the next session because we're gonna give you the announcements of how the season's gonna work. It's gonna be very different.
a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and go into
A Reposar.
All right, welcome back to our last section, which we love to call Reposar. And this is the part of the show where we are going to just kind of wind down from our heavy topic and just give any shout outs, any announcements that we might have. And as you know, if you've been here, you know this. If you're new here, you new to this. We're going to leave you with an affirmation and or a quote that resonated with us throughout the show. So, what you got for us?
My quote is, insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Something like that. I think that I see a lot of people doing that. And I just think to myself that exact quote. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not here to judge, you know. But I also do that myself. And I try to catch myself on that. But yeah.
I said it earlier in the show, but comparison is the thief of joy. So when I heard that, it resonated with me throughout the show because for the simple fact of when you're protecting your peace, you kind of start to sit back, and when you're looking at everybody else, we forget that social media, they're highlight reels. You're not getting the real raw intentionality behind what someone's day-to-day life looks like. You get the cleaned up cookie cutter version of it. So when you are operating in being alone in your season of singleness, or you're protecting your peace or anything like that, it can seem as though everyone else has the life that you want, or you're not where you think you're supposed to be. But that's because you're comparing yourself to what someone else's version of life looks like, and it might not be your version. So if you continue to compare to others, you're gonna continue to put yourself down. So you're robbing yourself of joy because you're too busy looking over at your neighbor's yard when you're not even making sure that everything is cool and copacetic on your own. So the grass is green on the other side. It really isn't. They just spray painted it. You're actually doing the work, turning over soil and shit to make sure it's good so that you can reap the benefits of what you've done sowed in that season that you're in right now. So comparison is a thief of joy, and try not to let comparing yourself to others steal your joy. I told you I came to preach today.
I do have a couple announcements to share with y'all. So this season, we are going to be giving you weekly episodes. We are back on a weekly schedule. And the way that it's going to work is if you would like to have an episode weekly, all of our even number episodes, so like episode 2, 4, 6, 8, they will be available only for members who subscribe to our Anchor page, or I think our Patreon page. I think that's what I'm working on. I'll make the announcement on IG stories. Obviously, you can pitch any amount to support us, and you'll get an episode every other week. So, 1 week we'll have a public episode available for everyone, and then the second week we will have a episode available only for our members. So it's very exciting. We want to provide more content. We want to continue doing this.
But it ain't cheap.
This is season 6. Hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll be back for a season 7 and a season 8. Only time can tell. But yeah, we are definitely listening to you guys. I know you guys like kept hitting us up throughout the summer and was like, yo, we need more, which is exciting. It's good to hear that, strangers from all around the world want to hear your voice and share laughter with you and good times. And we're definitely down to be here and just act a fool and act up and do it up for y'all. So definitely, if you can find it in your heart to support us, I think that would be amazing. There's also a link in our bio that will bring you to our link tree. We also have merchandise. We're going to be working on adding a little bit more to that store as well with the new Teespring features, which I logged in the other day and I was like, oh, okay,
what is going on?
We're going to do all that.
Out.
So yeah, definitely support Sofrito Speaks wherever you go. If you can repost, if you can like, subscribe, or, whatever, comment. It just feels good to be seen and heard, and sharing the message to our other primos and primas out there, okay? So, yeah, on that note, you don't have anything, right? On that note, my name is Rosales, and I'm blasting off.
And I'm Nina Montañez. Stay blessed, mi gente. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Sofrito Speaks.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Sofrito Speaks to keep up with all of our latest content.